Welcome to Arise360, your go-to destination for the latest in art, culture, entertainment, and lifestyle around the world. Coming up on today's show, wedding bells ring for two celebrity couples. An award-winning silent film premieres in Lagos. We go fashion forward with two very special guests, and stay locked because we have that playlist plugged, powered by Calyx. It's Monday, and I know most of you are reflecting on what went down this past weekend. Well, my weekend was quite relaxing. Stayed in, did a little bit of cleaning, had a chance to watch A Hotel Called Memory, which is an awesome film. We'll get into that later in today's news. And I had an opportunity to catch a rugby club match down by Hard Rock by Bar Beach. Oh, enough about me. Let's get into some entertainment news, shall we? Tennis champion Serena Williams marries Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian in New Orleans. Months after winning the Australian Open and giving birth to her firstborn daughter, Alexis, Serena and her boo had an intimate wedding. Family and close friends who were there to witness the ceremony. Those included Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, Anna Wintour, and Lala Anthony. Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen designed her dress that went down the aisle. The lofty tulle skirt and strapless neckline was coupled by a cape. Her second dress was by Versace with beads and feathers. She topped off the night with a fitted Versace strap blouse and a short skirt. And of course, Alexis matched her fly with an Armani suit. Nigerian entertainment sweethearts Adesuwa Atomi and Becky W also celebrate a wedding, this time traditional in Lagos. This past weekend, I'm sure your timeline was filled with #BAD2017. The couple took to Landmark Towers to reign in their traditional ceremony with family and friends. Adesuwa was pretty in pink in her Toju foyer dress and later changed into a jewel-encrusted gown and black one-shoulder skirt and top. Banky, of course, stylish per usual, wore D29 collections. The star-studded event included performances from Falls and Tiwa. Some of their celebrity friends, Ebuka, Eyina Wigwe, Shola Shabowale, and Toke Makinwa were also there in attendance. So the film I was telling you guys about, awesome? Let me tell you something. It's a new film, it's out, and guess what? There's only 13 pages of dialogue. Steering away from your typical romantic comedy genre here in Lollywood, director Kenomoto So and executive producer Ego Boyo created a silent film entitled A Hotel Called Memory. It officially premiered here in Lagos to a crowd of hundreds. The award-winning film investigates the relationship between women a woman who's in the middle of a divorce, a love interest she met while in Zanzibar, and her distressed husband. The lack of lines throughout the film, it allows you to interpret based on your own feelings and emotions and experiences. So everybody comes out thinking one storyline or another. You have to check it out. Speaking of experimental films, we have a story on the current state of Nollywood and what needs to be done to improve the industry. Let's check it out.
This might come as a bit of a surprise. I'm getting married.
Nollywood has witnessed massive growth in the past few years, ranking third behind Hollywood and Bollywood respectively. The movie industry since the mid-2000s have undergone some restructuring to promote quality and professionalism, with the figurine widely regarded as marking the major turnaround of contemporary Nigerian cinema.
How can you say Ujoji reform is a girl?
Since then, having movies gross over 453 million naira domestically, the growth of the film industry has been a major success. However, with a lot of work still to be done, to compete with the likes of Hollywood, movie makers and actors talked about the needs of the industry.
The films are done. Now we've improved on production value and all of that, but the film are still not, return on investment is not something that at the moment is really encouraging, so we're hoping that with more distribution platforms, it will get better.
Thank gracious, the industry is growing. We're excited. We feel good. For me, I say there's no better time to be in this industry than now. But does that answer the question of if we are there yet? No, we are not there. Actually, we're not even any close. There are lots of places, there are lots of gray areas in the industry. Our distribution still sucks, right? It sucks terribly. And for the reason monies do not come to the right people, or monies do not come exactly at all, or money comes in trickles. So if we can fix that end, I think that'll be a big plus, because if I'm certain that up to 20 million people can watch my film, do the mathematics, yeah? So even if all they pay to see that film is 100 naira. So it's going to be 100 naira times 20 million. Now we are talking.
Cohesion, cooperation, ability to do business openly, and not me, myself, I attitude. Like the rest of the world, they should just take the bull by the horn and do things the way they should be done.
When everybody's enjoying it.
With rapid emergence of talent in the industry, movie veterans had a piece of advice for upcoming filmmakers.
They should not stop learning, and they must keep their eyes open and their ears open so that they can pick up from experienced people. And they must be patient enough to be able to listen so that when they are being spoken to, they can listen and accept. Wait, maybe they're going to discard it, but you wouldn't know until you know what you have been advised on. You know, so I would say to them, patience. Patience. It's difficult sometimes, but you have to learn it and keep it.
My belief is that they know exactly what to do, they know how to go about it, they now need the resources to put it together.
I'll just tell them, welcome to your new life for the rest of your life, and continue making films. Keep making films. You make terrible films, you make really bad films, you make ugly films that you'll not be proud that anyone should see. But you see, if you don't make any of those kind of films, you never make any of those kind of films, right? Yeah, you have to make bad films, so keep making films. Do a 2 minutes, do a 3 minutes, do one without sound, do one on black and white, do one without lights. You know, just keep doing this thing and you just get better. You don't stop.
Rated number 2 behind Bollywood in terms of output, Nollywood is best known for its storytelling, showcasing Africa to the world. Ikenna Kingsley, Arise360.
So watch me weep and watch me I like your style, I like everything where you
I know I'm excited about the Nollywood industry and where we're headed, but back to some more entertainment news. For those of you who have been patiently waiting, Mr. Easy is back and in full effect. He is dropping his latest single, Pour Me Water by E. Kelly. Following the release of The Life of Easy Volume 1 earlier this year, a performance on James Corden, and the building of a love-hate relationship with Nigerians on Twitter, the musician is back and with Pour Me Water, a new track that features his signature laid-back flow. The song makes what sounds like a tongue-in-cheek reference to the holy water with its mellow and understated Afrobeats vibe. Pour Me Water is a quintessential Mr. Easy track, and we're not complaining. The singer also dropped a dance video for the song earlier today. That shows a talented group of dancers doing their thing, and you guessed it, showering him with water.
It's your easy. Oh,
it's E. Kelly.
Oh baby, pour me water, holy water, quench this fire. Pour me water, some holy water, make it quench this fire. Everybody want me, make I no fall in love with you. But I no answer them, I tell them, say na you. Right now you come and then you play me for a fool. I'm out here wondering, waiting I do. Yeah, baby, pour me water, holy water, quench this fire. Yeah. Pour me water, holy water.
All right, Niger dancehall heavyweight and self-proclaimed rock star Burna Boy is stepping out for a box of star-studded cross-genre collaborations. Burna Boy is joining Fall Out Boys for their 7th studio album titled Mania, and he's the only featured artist on the upcoming album. Yes, you heard it right, the only featured artist on the entire album. These bands are vets. The band released their track list earlier this month, which listed the feature from Burna Boy on the song Sunshine Riptide. Who knows, this might be the rock and Afrobeats fusion track that we never thought would happen, or it might just simply not be that great. Either way, we'll be listening. Fall Out Boy's Mania drops January 19th, 2018. Well, that's enough on the news. When we come back, let's dig into the life of fashion.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. There's a special breed of achievers out there that are called tomorrow's people, the highly creative ones who live in the future. They imagine what will be and strive to make it happen. They are bold. They refuse to wait for the future. Tomorrow bends and conforms to their ideas. At Access Bank, we share the same sentiments. We've been able to grow our bank to become a leading player in Nigeria with a strong presence across the continent, adopting best practice in everything we do. Our mantra for success is simple: speed, service, and security. Those who shape tomorrow strive for and demand perfection. At Access Bank, our service culture of speedy response and drive for excellence is the blueprint for creating customer experiences that will echo for generations. Come, let's work together and take tomorrow.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Then think Zenith, one of the biggest in Nigeria, with assets over $16 billion, listed among the 20 most influential brands in the world, and winner of Best Bank in Corporate Governance. The most customer-focused bank in Nigeria, a success built on 3 foundations, dedicated to people, technology, service. Zenith, in your best interest.
There is nothing as symbolic as a door. It shuts to protect you and opens to give you much more. Everyone wants to succeed, not just count pennies. When life gets tough, I remember a few things. Difficulty and struggles are part of what life brings. Your strength comes from the support around you. A true friend believes in what you do, there to hold your hand through any weather. I found my partner, and we walked through doors together.
Diamond, your bank.
Welcome back to Arise360, and I'm your host, Nena. Like I said, I have a very special show for you today. All right, let's get to it. Fashion Forward is loading right now. Okay, you guys have to. We have a very special guest with us today. You may have seen her strutting down the runway at this year's Lagos Fashion Design Week, modeling for designers like Gray, May Oti, or featured in Vogue.com and CNN Africa. 17-year-old Ifeoma Nwobu has beauty and brains to match. She is currently a student at the University of Lagos and is studying political science. We're here to chat with her about life as a model in a conservative society and those societal pressures that influence perception. Welcome to Arise360, Ifeoma.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So tell me, like, how did you're so young, but you're doing so much in this industry. Tell me, how did you get into it?
It was something that I knew I wanted to do, but I had no idea how.
Okay.
But thankfully, I have an elder sister who put me through. So I remember vividly, well, that I started modeling through her. Like, she had little shoots she used to put together, and she always used me as the model. And then there was a time I was with an agency, and she got the contact for me. So I got signed to the agency, and they literally put me out there, and I had an idea of what the industry was like before I then left.
How old were you when all this was happening? Was this like fairly recently?
I was turning 15.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been about 3 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your sister is clearly supportive. How about your parents? How were they when you decided to get into that?
Unfortunately, my mother never got to see, me and, how far I've gotten now. But my dad has been supportive. But then the only thing is that he doesn't want it to, interfere with my education. He's fine with me being a model as long as I know how to create necessary balance between modeling and school.
How has that balance been for you?
It's still going on, and it's really tough because there's some times when I have to let go of either one of it. There's sometimes when I have a shoot and then I have class and then I have to think, is this class really that important? Or I have a shoot and then I have a test. I remember one time I had a shoot and I literally had a test by like 4 p.m. and I had to do that shoot from morning till 3 so that I could get back to school. It's interesting, but then it's really stressful when you're in the moment, it's stressful. But when you calm down and think of it, it's like, wow, I really did that.
Yeah, you're like juggling, prioritizing. Yeah. How is it with your teachers? Like, how are you, like, do you communicate with them, let them know up front, like, hey, this is what I have going on?
About teachers in Nigeria, I feel like explaining to people who are not in the industry is pointless because they're never going to understand. So it was something I used to do on my own, and I never really liked telling people that, oh, I'm a model or anything. If they want to find out, they find out on their own. I didn't like the attention because sometimes they exaggerate these things. Even when it's not a big deal, they want to go on Instagram and post things and make it a big deal. So I don't like all that attention. So I never really let anyone in school know.
Really? Okay, so you're like more, a little bit more on the quiet side about that. Which is interesting because you're on a platform like Lagos Fashion Design Week, which is awesome. Like, congrats. Saw you this past year. And like when you're modeling for like Lagos Fashion Design Week, I know we're doing more cross-cutting things, especially like pushing the culture forward and the way we design things. We're being a little bit more liberal. Have you ever felt like, hey, this is a little too much, a little bit too explicit for me, or, I'm kind of young, I don't think this is right, or are you pretty much open to let the designer express however he wants to express? Because technically you are the canvas.
Yeah, I never feel too young. I don't feel like there's any such thing as feeling too young, because if you feel too young, then why are you doing that? Because there's a lot of things that they would tell you to do. On a normal day, if you tell your friends or your family, they're like, why would you do that? Maybe like exposing some parts of the body, but you just grow into it. You just know that this thing is normal for these people here. It may not be normal in the real world, but like this is what you have to do when you're here. Yeah. And as a model, I've basically learned how to sell anything I'm given to wear, because we don't really have a choice to say, oh, I want to wear this or I want to wear that. So it's literally just about putting yourself in a way that you can carry everything that you're given to wear, even if there's really nothing to wear.
Yeah. I think it's awesome because, models are now in a position to really be in a position to like provide a platform for people to express, and not necessarily in words, in, clothing, in the way things fall. I think it's liberating, as women, for us to be able to, be beautiful, fully clothed, or, bearing a little bit of skin. And I think it's awesome that you allow, these designers to do that with you.
Well, yeah, it's interesting.
You're like, it's kind of part of the job too.
Sorry?
You're like, it's kind of part of the job.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool, that's cool. So tell me more, like, I know, I'm, coming from the West. There you hear a lot about models that are often marginalized because people of color are marginalized because, these certain designers want white models. Like, what kind of nuances do you experience? I know we don't necessarily experience something like that, but in like, Black community, we do have this light skin versus dark skin thing. Does that thing also affect the fashion community on the modeling end?
Yeah, I think it does, in the sense that, okay, in the past few years, people did not really appreciate extremely dark-skinned people, but now we've seen the light. We know that now you can be as black as whatever and still be beautiful. But the problem I have is now some people are now a bit too extreme, in the sense that they want either a very light-skinned person or a very dark-skinned person. So that you're just like normally dark, there's really nothing for you. Yeah. And it's no longer a problem of being dark. It's now a problem of not being dark enough.
It's like you have to be like, it's like a gimmick. Like you have to be something that's like coined, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Or like something that you can hashtag or something like that,
exactly.
you know?
And it's not exactly a problem for me because I feel like whoever wants me in their brand wants me, and it's not something that I would be able to fight or, you know, just complain about. But I believe that at the end of the day, every brand, every designer has a particular market or target audience they're trying to sell to. So if I don't fit into that, then I'm not going to be angry about it. Yeah. But it's just, then there needs to be a balance. It's not 5 years ago you were so crazy about light-skinned models. Now you're so crazy about extremely dark models. There just has to be a balance. Yeah. That's why I really like what Rihanna did with her beauty line. Like, there's something for everybody. Nobody feels left out, including the albinos, the very dark people. So yeah, we just need that kind of balance here in Nigeria. And
I completely agree. I think we're in a position where, you know, there's no longer exclusive. It's all about how can we be as inclusive as possible. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you know, we all want the same thing. We all want to be accepted to a certain extent. And I think, like Rihanna did, it's amazing. You know, she's breaking boundaries, to say the least, right? Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, again, like, so with the whole light skin, dark skin thing, you feel like you haven't been limited in this industry. You still feel like you're making progress to, you know, I see you, you know, shooting with Lisa Falawio, Gray, you know, you're on CNN.com. Like, tell me, like, what was the progression in all of that? Was it like, I know you said a lot of it was through your sister, but how was it like being actually in there, you know, by yourself, like in these, you know?
Well, it felt good. First of all, there's something for everyone. There's something that makes everybody stand out. And here, me personally, I feel like people have made me know that it's probably my hair. Like, everybody's so fascinated. Oh, you have an afro and all of that. So being on these platforms, yes. So being on these platforms, well, it feels good. It feels heartwarming that, okay, you're getting that recognition, although it's not your last stop. It's not where you're going to stop. It's you know, it's a step forward, and it's really interesting, you know. And I just really hope that one day I'd be contacted directly by these people, you know. They don't have to feature me. They call me directly and personally. But for now, it's one step at a time. And I mean, you're so young, so it's like literally sky is the limit for you. Do you see yourself, like, is there like a modeling troupe in your school, or are you more so like sticking to like what your agency provides for you and like what you get kind of aside from school? I'm not with an agency for now in Nigeria, but I'm looking, you know, towards that. Okay,
you're looking to get into that.
I didn't quite understand what you asked.
No, are you part of any like modeling troupe in your school, or is it mainly?
No, I'm not.
You're not. No. You're like, what is that? Okay. Well, I have some fun, fast fashion facts for you that we're going to get into. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So, these are 4 industry questions. Please let me know whether they are fact or fiction. 1, Alara, the fashion boutique here in Lagos, was designed by David Ajayi. Fact or fiction?
I don't know.
Okay, it is fact.
Do I have to say fact or fiction?
You have to say fact or fiction.
So even if I don't know if it's a fact.
Just a guess, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're welcome guesses here. So what do you think?
By David Ajayi.
Yeah.
Fiction.
Fact. He's a really well-known architect.
Oh, wow.
He designed, the Alara boutique. So when next time you take a look at it, look at the architectural design.
Oh, okay.
He also did the African American Smithsonian Museum in the States, in DC. Number 2, Lagos Fashion and Design Week is in its 5th edition after this year. Fact or fiction?
After this year?
Yeah.
Fiction.
Exactly. This was their 6th edition, so next year will be their 7th edition. Number 3, US-based designer Laquan Smith was featured at GTB Fashion Week. Fact or fiction?
Fact, because I work so
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love him as a designer. Like, he's doing some amazing things. And then last but not least, Lagos-based brand Waffles and Cream is a snowboarding clothing store.
Fact.
Fiction.
What? How?
It's a skateboarding.
Oh, wow. I feel so stupid right now. Because when I heard board, I was just like, yeah, fact.
Yeah,
but then they're actually skateboarding, not snowboarding.
Yeah. Countercultural thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we actually met. I remember, was that back in March?
March, yeah.
Yes. And I was like, who is this tall, beautiful model over here? Yes. So please let us know how we can get in touch with you. What's your social handles?
I'm all for originality. I don't know how to put nicknames out there. So if you know my name, my social media handles, Ifeoma_Nwobu. That's IFEOMA_NWOBU. Because I like to put my family name on the map.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Let's do it. Let's keep it alive. Thank you so much, Ifeoma. You're awesome. So sit back and relax. We have more to come after this short commercial break.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. There's a special breed of achievers out there that are called tomorrow's people, the highly creative ones who live in the future. They imagine what will be and strive to make it happen. They're bold. They refuse to wait for the future. Tomorrow bends and conforms to their ideas. At Access Bank, we share the same sentiments. We've been able to grow our bank to become a leading player in Nigeria with a strong presence across the continent, adopting best practice in everything we do. Our mantra for success is simple: speed, service, and security. Those who shape tomorrow, strive for, and demand perfection. At Access Bank, our service culture of speedy response and drive for excellence is the blueprint for creating customer experiences that will echo for generations. Come, let's work together and take tomorrow.
Thinking of banking in Africa? Then think Zenith, one of the biggest in Nigeria, with assets over $16 billion, listed among the 20 most influential brands in the world, and winner of Best Bank in Corporate Governance. The most customer-focused bank in Nigeria, a success built on 3 foundations, dedicated to people, technology, service. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
There is nothing as symbolic as a door. It shuts to protect you and opens to give you much more. Everyone wants to succeed, not just count pennies. When life gets tough, I remember a few things. Difficulty and struggles are part of what life brings. Your strength comes from the support around you. A true friend believes in what you do, there to hold your hand through any weather. I found my partner, and we walked through doors together.
Diamond, your bank.
See, that wasn't too long. Welcome back. I'm your host, Nana. And again, I told you I have a very, very special show for you. Our next guest knows how to get up close in the fashion scene here in Lagos and throughout Africa. Mimi Onalaja can be seen at premiere events on the red carpet powered by Ebony Life for shows like VVIP. She's also been a fashion contributor for Style Vitae. This New York Film Academy grad plans to make a huge mark in the entertainment scene. I invited her here to chat about all things fashion, the trends to look out for this holiday season, and everything around fashion. Welcome, Mimi.
Thank you, Nana. Thanks for having me.
Yes, no problem. You look so gorgeous. What do you have on today?
Thank you. I decided to go very simple. This is a top by a Nigerian designer called Buttons by Luch. I met her through Instagram. It's how I meet a lot of the people that I wear.
Talk about it.
So they get into my DMs or I get into their
Slide
DMs.
in the DM.
Yeah. And we strike relationships that are always amazing. So yeah, this is one of those. And jewelry today, bland to glam,
Love.
FF Fine Jewelry, FF Fine Jewelry, all Nigerian.
Yes, made in Nigeria. Love that.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that you do prefer going the designer route, or do you have like a go-to tailor? Like say if like, you know, you need something made really quick, or you know you have something that you want to recreate.
I used to have a go-to tailor, but it's so much stress dealing with tailors in Lagos. So yeah, I just don't do that anymore. It was a lot of heartache for me. He would maybe not get the style right or do something wrong, put a button where it's not supposed to be.
Okay.
It was just too much. So luckily, I have a friend, one of my best girls. She's a designer, Fabian by Daring. And she's just become my go-to person, and she has made my life a whole lot easier.
Talk about it.
So if I literally need anything last minute, that's probably the person I'm going to go to.
Okay, yeah, like, I mean, I know myself, my dad is based in Abuja, and I'm here, but like, my designer or my tailor is there, so send her things. It's just such a hard, it's like a headache.
You need to find a Lagos person.
That's what, it's been so tough.
I know,
It's been so tough.
It'll probably take you...
I was spoiled in Abuja, I must say.
You probably need to go through so many people before you find your comfort zone, but it's okay, you'll find it.
So you would say Lagos is more so designer-based
than Abuja?
Everything outside of Lagos, you know,
no, well,
tailor?
I mean, in terms of number, so in terms of the number of designers or the number of tailors that you have access to, I would say Lagos definitely has the numbers. But Abuja does really good work.
Yeah.
They do like impeccable stuff. Most of the time, the things that come out of Abuja look so exquisitely finished, and they look so expensive, and they look so... They just look amazing.
They do. Like, I mean, Style Temple, straight out of Abuja.
Style Temple design, like there's a host of them.
The list goes on.
They're doing amazing work.
Speaking of designers, I know this past Lagos Fashion Design Week, I noticed like a plethora of like primary colors that were coming through the runway. And I'm like, is this the new trend for this season? Like, let's take a look at what we captured from Lagos Fashion Design Week on those primary colors.
Make me spend this money all over. Because of you, I get to goosebumps all over. This feeling got me falling.
So, you see the primary colors are rampant.
Yes, yes. I think the first primary color that I noticed this season was red. And before we even got to the runway, I had already noticed it from the guests and on the streets. And I'm not just talking red, head to toe red, like literally from the from the neck down to the shoes. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And it's definitely one look that I can't wait to try. But yeah, there definitely was a lot of bold colors. You know, there's a lot of solid colors. And like you were saying at the break, even when the pieces were whimsical, there was still that injection of the bold, bright, vibrant colors. And I'm here for it. I absolutely love it.
It's like I need to be a showstopper. Like,
I know.
It's, you know, red is a power color. So I think that it's like, you know, people are injecting that like fiery spirit, you know, just in time for the holidays. And I like how you touched upon, you know, structures. Yes, we saw a lot of print, but people were playing a lot with like geometrical shapes and just kind of like taking, you know, structure to the next level as opposed to like just, you know, regular top and blouse.
And I feel like
or top and bottom.
Yes, and I feel like it's also a very easy way for you to take your very simple outfit from just simple to simple but still striking. It's brilliant.
Yeah, I'm plotting on like maybe an all blue or all yellow.
Yeah, this blue. This blue.
Cobalt blue. Nice, yeah, because I know Style by Envy, I noticed, Style by Envy, and then Tufa also, you know, really.
Yeah. Turfa just launched their collection at Alara a couple of weeks ago,
Exactly.
And see, that's the thing I was saying about simple pieces, but with color, because it was basically a range of Iran bubas.
It was.
Of blouses and wrappers, you know. So it was the same thing, but there was different styles for the tops. but then everything was in a distinct, solid color.
Yeah.
And it just took the collection from here to here.
And then like the type of materials that were used, it just really made it very classy.
Very classy.
And then like as the people were coming, because I was also at that event that happened at Lara, and I noticed that it fit everybody so well, like different shapes and sizes, different age ranges. It just works.
It was that kind of collection. It was
Yeah.
something for everybody, like literally different age ranges.
Yeah.
Anyone can wear it, and it would look age appropriate. It would look chic. It would look
just
nice.
Yeah, just lux. And I liked how they had the men in like, you know, bold colors as well.
Yeah.
Like they really did a good job like blending that together.
They did.
Yeah.
They absolutely did.
So what can we say the top looks are for this holiday? We're definitely going primary colors, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Primary colors, bold, solid, head to toe. That's definitely a top look for the holidays. What else? I think lace.
Lace?
I feel like lace made a comeback. I think lace made a comeback. So it's more, more dresses with a lot more peekaboo type designs. I think that made a comeback. And what else?
I liked the mix and match of prints. I think, you know, we've always been a print.
Yeah.
You know, but usually it's like matching. But now, like Lisa Falawio, I feel like is like the queen of mix and match.
Undeniably.
Mix and match, and I really like how she's like pushing that. And I think a lot of other designers are feeling more comfortable to do that as well.
The thing with Lisa Falawio, I love how she's able to reinvent that, because it's something she's been doing for a while. She's been working with prints for a while, but I love how she's able to reinvent it season after season, such that we never get tired of it. You know, so we've been seeing Lisa Falawio on the runways for, well, I personally have been seeing her for maybe 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
But I never feel like I'm seeing the exact same thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's still print, but it feels so different to me, and I love that about her.
Yeah, and I would love to know more, because you've been monitoring, like you're all over the red carpets, you're at these events. Like, how has the progression of like fashion been, you know, say the past like 3, 4 years, 5 years?
It's been fast.
Really?
It's been very fast. There's a lot more. The tailoring is what I'm even going to talk about now. The tailoring of the pieces that I see up close are definitely a lot more cleaner. You know, they're finished very well.
Okay.
And they look professional, you know. Most of the pieces look like they can, or most of the pieces can, you know, meet up to international standards. So if you put an Elisab dress, by instance, beside a Style Temple dress, honestly, I think you wouldn't be able to tell the difference in terms of the tailoring and in terms of the way the pieces have been put together. And I just have to applaud our designers for that.
You know, I'm so glad you said that, because it's interesting to me. I've noticed since going to Lagos Fashion Design Week, this was my first year going, I'm like completely underwhelmed from like the rest of like, you know, the other fashion weeks, because we come with such, you know, energy and such boldness, and it's like, it's more than just like, you know, seeing models walk down the runway with designer clothes. It's like an attitude. It's like an actual curated event, and it's an experience. And I think it's awesome that, you know, we're finally being seen on the platforms that, you know, recognize that type of boldness.
Absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. And I'm just speaking on the progression, something I would love to see, and this is in terms of our fashion weeks now. I just love to see us get to a place where we take Fashion Week to a whole new level. So it's more than just one runway, you know.
Yes.
So we don't feel like for 4 days straight we're sitting down and we're kind of going through the same process. So I'd love to see us use different locations. I'd love to see designers put in actual work into producing their shows, such that they give us not just the pieces, but a whole experience. I think it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait for it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, because we have so many designers I know, like, that want to showcase their stuff, and it's like, we can't just have one runway. We need to have multiple ones, you know, interesting, you know, showcases.
Yeah, and to be honest, it does get tiring sitting down for so long.
It does. And you know what I've noticed? A few brands like Waffles and Cream have acknowledged like the difference in seasons. Like, you know, we have your spring, summer, your autumn, winter, and like Europe, you know, the States. But here we have dry and Hamatan.
Dry and Hamatan.
Yeah.
Do we even have Hamatan these days? I feel like we just have hot. Hot and rain.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like that, though. I like how we're infusing, our own culture, because at the end of the day, like, we're going to make clothes for what we can wear here.
I think the thing is, when it comes to this, this whole topic of us following the calendar, the fashion calendar of the international fashion scene, I just think it's because we want to be as competitive as the international designers, you know. So we want to be able to, if we say that we want to be able to play actively on an international stage, then we probably need to just align with the already existing calendar. So it's not necessarily that we are not proud of our culture or we try too much to get international approval. It's just, it just makes sense. It's like saying in the workplace, in the corporate environment, for instance, you follow best practice. You know, there's literally best practice in the fashion industry. And if Nigerian designers want to be able to play on that stage and in that scene, then we just need to align. And that's just it. That's what it is.
You know, I think it'd be interesting to kind of like take a step back and be like, hey, you know, great autumn, winter, fashion week. We have, you know, dry coming up. So, you know, like this is what we have to showcase. And I think it doesn't like negate what's already existing, but I think it adds to it, you know? It adds to it. It creates a different perspective. Like, yeah, let's be honest, not everybody sees snow once a year.
True. That is true. Some people never see it ever in their lifetimes. Yeah, I mean, you make a good point. Yeah. You make a good point. And it actually just might make us seem even more interesting. Yeah, actually.
Yeah, and the beautiful part about you know, the African continent is that our, you know, terrains and our, you know, our weather is so diverse. You go down to South Africa, you know, you go to like Cape Town. I heard you see like 4 different seasons and like you know, in this very short radius. Yeah,
true.
Yeah. True. I think it's interesting that brands like, again, Waffles and Cream infuse that a little bit more. And I'm wondering what other brands will continue to
do that. I need to check that brand out, Waffles and Cream. I don't know that brand.
Yeah, they actually are in Alara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to Instagram right after this.
Exactly, exactly. Well, sit tight, people. We have Mimi for a little bit longer. We'll be back for a little bit more.
The best way to predict the future is to create it. There's a special breed of achievers out there that are called tomorrow's people, the highly creative ones who live in the future. They imagine what will be and strive to make it happen. They're bold. They refuse to wait for the future. Tomorrow bends and conforms to their ideas. At Access Bank, we share the same sentiments. We've been able to grow our bank to become a leading player in Nigeria with a strong presence across the continent, adopting best practice in everything we do. Our mantra for success is simple: speed, service, and security. Those who shape tomorrow strive for and demand perfection. At Access Bank, our service culture of speedy response and drive for excellence is the blueprint for creating customer experiences that will echo for generations. Come, let's work together and take tomorrow.
It's been a great year for agribusiness. With our weather and the amazing range of soil available to us, the fallow lands are birthing their magnificent potential. The Central Bank of Nigeria, under President Buhari's administration, is spearheading this progress, and everyone is getting in on it. The local farmer on the Anchor Borrowers Program and the international investors, taking advantage of the new policies geared towards easy foreign investment, stabilized exchange rate, and FX market. The harvest is green and lush, and we are just getting started. Come, invest in Nigeria. Discover what the green in our flag really stands for. Nigeria, ready for business. An initiative of Greenfield Assets Limited. There is nothing as symbolic as a door. It shuts to protect you and opens to give you much more. Everyone wants to succeed, not just count pennies. When life gets tough, I remember a few things. Difficulty and struggles are part of what life brings. Your strength comes from the support around you. A true friend believes in what you do, there to hold your hand through any weather. I found my partner, and we walked through doors together.
Diamond, your bank.
As a fashion writer, I know how quickly trends are created and changed. In business, it's no different. To stay ahead, I needed a plan flexible enough to meet my changing communication needs. More Business 2.0 didn't just give me voice and data in one package. I got a whole lot more. With More Business, setting up my website was no problem. But I'm not just a fashion writer. I also own a home decor store before I decided to open an accessory store. With my customized More Business plan, managing my staff's communication is easy. No matter how frequently they come or they go. With 9mobile's new online self-service this week, I could adapt my plans to include this.
From 2,000 Naira, choose a business bundle, customize your staff's voice and data lines, and enjoy a variety of add-on business services. Dial *200*5# now to subscribe. More Business.
Thanks for joining us again. It's me, Nena, and I'm with Mimi. We were having a little discussion about, you know, the temperaments here in Nigeria and how, you know, we have our nuances and things like that that are, you know, not necessarily the norm in the fashion industry, but you know, it works for us.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting.
You've won me over.
Okay. Okay. And now you're gonna check out Waffles and Cream.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, interesting enough, for this segment that I have called Fashion Forward, I have actually curated a playlist, which goes into our next segment called Playlist Plug. This pretty much sums up the entire show with a cool playlist. You can always stay connected with us, which is interesting. So even if you're not watching us on air, you can hop onto Spotify and type in Arise360 Lagos. So each show will have a specific playlist. This one is called Fast Fashion. Okay. So I hit up my guy, Calix, who's a really cool DJ, and told him to put together something fun, upbeat, interesting, you know, that kind of mimics like the runway or me, I don't know about you, I like to get dressed listening to music. So I'm like dancing and, you know, doing that. And, you know, it's pretty interesting. So let's take a listen, shall we? Up we have Dua Lipa's New Rules.
Talking in my sleep at night, making myself crazy. Out of my mind, out of my mind. Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me. Too many times, my love, he makes it feel like nobody else, nobody else. But my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, one, don't pick up the phone, you know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. Two, don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Three, don't be his friend, you know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. Pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. No
kick him out again. Free, don't be a stranger. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him. He's drunk and alone too. Don't let him in, you have to kick him out again. Free, don't be a stranger. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting over him. I got no rules, I count him.
Mimi, I don't know about you, but I love the music video.
I love it. It's so fashion.
Yes.
And it's so laid back and it's so fun. I absolutely love it.
It goes back to those primary colors we talked about.
Yes.
Rampant.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Dua Lipa, she's really, you know, doing some new real things for us.
And I can absolutely hear that song on the runway. Like, it just makes sense.
Exactly.
Very fun.
He did a great job curating it. He has a lot of cool songs on there, so you should definitely have to check it out.
I will.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sad, but we have to go. Thank you for joining us again. This is Nena. See you next week here on Arise360. Leaving you with some tunes by DJ Java featuring DJ Yin and Vic Jax called Lady. Sorry, I need to repeat that. No, I don't want to say it again. It's like, yeah. Okay. Thank you for, before we leave, Mimi, tell us your social. How can we get in touch with you? How can we slide through your DMs?
It's Mimi Onalaja everywhere. So, Instagram and Twitter, Mimi Onalaja. That's MIMIONALAJA. It's not an O, it's an A.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Mimi, for joining us. And thank you for watching. See you next week here on Arise360. I'm Nena, and I'm also leaving you with some tunes from our playlist plug on Spotify called Arise360 Lagos. DJ Java featuring DJ Yin and Vic Jax called Lady. Enjoy.